Good. I like your necklace. Is that a gift? For Hanukkah? From your family? Yeah. Any questions for Rabbi? Meaning of life? Yes. What it's like to have a beard? He's ready. I'm ready. Right, I guess. She's gonna really miss my I can tell too.
By the way, the smile I just watched you give your brother, that is the most incredibly joyous smile I think I've ever seen on your face. It was beautiful. Okay. So, is everybody here? Okay.
I think so.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Beautiful day on the shore, and it's an opportunity. We have an opportunity today to not only celebrate this most holy day of Shabbat, but to ensure the future of our tradition. As you will lead us today, you'll be leading the service. You'll be reading Torah, Haftarah, teaching us, and the world is on your shoulders, but no pressure.
Okay.
When we'll begin the service, we'll be using Mishkan Tefillah. It is the blue book that's in front of you, or if you're in a front row somewhere, which I don't think anybody is, it's underneath. Hebrew reads right to left, and so we'll be following the book. Cantor will help walk you through in terms of how to participate in the music. Rebecca will help you when she asks you to participate in the readings. And we want you to celebrate being here today. So before we do anything else, I need you to take out your social media devices and take a selfie and post that you're in the happiest place on earth. And then say Shabbat Shalom to your social media devices and turn them off and put them away, please. Okay? All right. Any takers? Good. We're going to ask your folks to come up and give you your talit. Is that okay?
Yes.
Do you want to ask them or you want me to ask them?
I'll ask them. Mom, Dad, please come up.
Okay, go ahead. So Lee, she has to say a prayer. Say something to her first.
That's something that I prepared for you, especially for this day. And for your mom's birthday.
Good. You're just looking at it, doesn't it?
Oh, okay. My dear Rebecca, words can't really express all the joy, love, and pride that is in my heart for you. I've seen you grow up into a determined, kind, and sweet girl. You are hardworking and very creative. Your sense of style is second to none. You are always ready to take on a new challenge at school, sports, or hobbies. Your enthusiasm for life is complete. You're a loving daughter, you complete our family in the most sweet and special way. I want you to commit absolutely love watching the personality I constantly go between wanting you to be my baby too, but at the same time, feel very excited to see you. Always know your self-worth and your strength to chase your dreams.
that your hair is outside. It's written in the Talmud that it has to be done just that way. You want to hug your daughter? Okay, very cool. Thank you, brother. Okay.
Our service is going to begin on page 290. I wanted to echo something Rabbi Kline said. Please don't use your camera to film any of the service. A beautiful recording is being made of the service, and the family has that memory. We want you to be focused on the service here in the sanctuary. So our opening prayer is Matovu, and the prayer book is written in the Hebrew direction, so it goes from right to left. And let's together say the Hebrew. The Hebrew's on the right, but if you don't yet know Hebrew, you can use the transliteration on the left. I'll say it, and then you say it. Matovu,
Matovu,
Ohalecha, Yaakov, Mishkenotecha, Yisrael. Which means how fair your tents, O Jacob, your dwellings, O Israel. And so now let's sing this together. I think you're going to do a great job because I haven't changed any of the music since Ethan and Andrew's bar mitzvah, so you should all remember everything. So Evan's going to give us our opening note. Here we go. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov. Everyone try that now. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov. Then ohalecha repeats. Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ohalecha. Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. That is the whole opening verse on page 290. So please join together with me. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Again. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. V'ani berov chazdecha avo b'techa eshtachaveh el hichal kodshecha be'yiratecha. All together, Matovu. Matovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Matovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Adonai all together. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Va'ani tefilati lecha Adonai et ratzon Elohim berov chazdecha aneni bemet mishecha. Together. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, Israel, Ma tovu ohanecha Yaakov, ohanecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael.
Please, we are on page 901.
No, 291.
291. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, with driven wisdom you have made our bodies, combining veins, arteries, and vital organs into a finely balanced network. Wondrous maker of the sustainer of life, were on one of them to fail, how well you are aware, we would lack the strength to sustain life before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, source of our health and strength.
Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei chol basar, umafli la'asot.
Please turn the page.
On the top of 291, we're going to sing this prayer together, and I'll again start by getting us used to saying the Hebrew. Elohai, Neshama, Shenatata bi,
Okay.
Tahorahi. Maybe you're familiar with the word neshama, that's for soul. And this prayer means the soul you have given me, God, is pure. It reminds us that we all started out with a very clean slate, and every day we want to strive to get back to that place. Here's how it goes. Elohai, Elohai. Let's try that, everybody. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, 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 Shenatatabi. Let's try that. Shenatatabi, Tehorahi, Tehora, Tehorahi. We sing that all straight through. Please join me. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Shenatatabi, Tehorahi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu
Melech haolam.
melech haolam, who has given the mind the ability to distinguish day from night.
We sing Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who opens the eyes of the blind.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who frees the captive.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who lifts up the fallen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who strengthens the earth over the waters.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who strengthens our steps.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who clothes the naked.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who gives strength to the weary.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who removes sleep from the eyes, slumbering from the eyelids.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me in the image of God.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me free.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me a Jew.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who girds Israel with strength.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who crowds Israel with splendor.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who hallows us with mitzvah, commanding us to engage with words of Torah.
Amen.
Adonai our God, make the words of your Torah sweet to us, and the house of Israel, your people, that we and our children may be lovers of your name, and students of your Torah. We praise you, O God, teacher of Torah, to our people Israel.
Baruch atah Adonai, hamlamed Torah le'amo Yisrael.
Please go to page 312.
Please rise. Yitkadal v'yitkadal shemei Rabba, v'yamad yivrach yirutei v'yamnich malchutei, v'chayechoni v'mechoni chayenecho ben Yisrael, v'hagalav yismagarim v'yimaru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach, le'olam u'le'mi almaya yitbarach. Yiparach v'ishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramah v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudashah le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbichata v'nechemata damira me'alema v'yimaru. Amen.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch Adonai, HaMevorach L'Olam Va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvrei hosheh, oseh shalom uvrei et hakol. Please continue on the next page. Please read with me. The world is sunlight, restoring the soul, rejoicing the heart, bringing light to the eyes, more welcome than gold, my Torah from heaven. I have no light to give the morning, my Torah, my special human gift is words. As I bring my Torah from silence, welcome them, you who redeems the sun from darkness.
Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer Hamorot.
Page 317.
O God, inspiration and guide for all, you have spoken in thousands tones for us to hear, in every land and every age. Your children have heard you and imaged you in a spirit ways. And yet, O God, you are one, unifier of humanity. We give
thanks for the sages and teachers who bring us understanding of your will. Gratefully we recall the lawgivers and prophets, the psalmists and sages of Israel, and joyfully remember that from the dawn of Israel's life, we would turn to you and find purpose.
May the teachings of your ancestors live in our minds, and the passion for rejoicing stir our hearts. Help us live so that our daily conduct reveals the beauty and wisdom of your truth.
Baruch atah Adonai, habocher b'amo Yisrael b'ahava.
We continue on the next page. Please be seated.
Not yet. Not yet.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kavod, Mehuto Le'olam Va'ed. Please be seated.
We continue on page 319. Together. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha ve'hayu advarim ha'elem asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantav levanecha v'dibarta bam B'shivtecha b'beitecha, u'v'lechtecha b'derech, u'shokbecha u'v'kumecha, u'kshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotavot b'neinecha, u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, u'v'yishavrecha, l'ma'an tizkeru, v'asitem et kol mitzotai, Vitem kiddushim le'Elohechem, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We are on page 321. Sing the song of men and women, join in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, and earth protected and cherishing a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land and by war, no quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
Page 322. Mi chamacha va'elim Adonai, mi chamacha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osefele, shirah chadasha shimehu ge'ulim, לשמחה שפת הים, יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. צור ישראל קומה Bezrat Yisrael Uvedei Chinumecha Yudah Yisrael Yisrael, Baruch Ata Adonai, Gal Yisrael.
So I need everyone to take a deep breath and hold it for just a couple seconds and slowly let it out. You have just participated in the first prayer ever uttered by humanity. The deep breath that you've taken is the prayer of thanksgiving that you are, and that you get to breathe, and that you're whole. And then when you let it out, you gave the second prayer ever uttered by humanity. And that's the prayer asking for the next breath. We get so caught up in thinking that prayer are the words that we say somehow invoking deity in one form or one tradition or another, that prayer takes on this notion that it's something that religious people do, without realizing that we are all people of faith and all celebrate the fact that, prayer is how we live. It's what we do just because we are. And in that mode of prayer, we should be able to appreciate the blessings that fill our lives, and then want to feel compelled to share those blessings with each other. And so the prayers in the book are really the prelude, the beginning. And you haven't really prayed until you've done something with the words that you have read or sung in a prayer book, or recited over a meal, or before a football game, or whatever. Those words are the reminder that your behavior has to match the words that you're espousing. So as we continue in this service, we actually move into the part that we call tefillah, which is prayer. And so we're going to pay attention to being appreciative of the ancestors who have come before us, and in doing so, remembering that the legacy that they've given us, we have to improve upon and pass on to the next generation. And so when we emerge from our time here together, we should be thankful that we had each other, impressed with the future of our tradition, But also, and probably most importantly, remember that we have a lot of work to do to make the world that is into the one that we pray will be. So with that, I ask everyone to rise. We're on page 323.
This prayer goes through a series of pages, starting on page 323. So keep turning the page. Adonai sefatitita ufi hagit hilatecha. Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
324.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Ha'gibor B'Hanorah Eheyod Gomel Hasadim Tovim V'konei HaKol V'zoher Chasei Avot V'Imahot Mevi Golani V'nei V'neihem L'man Shemo B'Yahava Melech Chozer Moshe Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor
325.
Le'olam Adonai Michei Kol atah Rav L'Hoshia Morid Hatah Mechalkel Chaim V'Chesed Mechayev HaKol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Dofei Hodim Umatir Asurim Umekayim Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Bal Gevurot Umida Melach Melech Memit Umechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua V'neman Atan HaChayot HaKol Baruch atah Adonai Michayei HaKol. We are in the middle of page 326 with our prayer of holiness and sanctification. Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam Keshem shimamti shimoto b'shmei harov Kakatuv al yad neviecha V'karazel ze ve'amar Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh Adonai Tzevaot Melech haaretz Kivodo Adir Adinenu Adonai Adonenu Mahadir Shimcha B'chol haaretz Baruch Kivod Adonai Mimkomo Echad hu Eloheinu Hu Avinu Hu Malkeinu Hu Moshienu V'hu Yashmienu Rachamav Le'nei Kochai Ani Adonai Elohechem Yimloch Adonai Le'olam Elohai Yichzion L'dor v'ador Alleluia L'dor v'ador nagid God lecha Netzach netzach yitzcha nadish V'shivchacha Eloheinu mepenu lo yamush Le'olam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated and join me on 329. Those who keep Shabbat by calling its delight will rejoice your relent. The people that hallow Shabbat will delight your goodness. For being pleased with the seventh day, you hallowed it as the most precious of days, drawing our attention to the work of creation.
At the top of page 329, we join together in our prayer of rejoicing, Yismachu. And if you want, you can also clap along with the tambourine.
Okay.
Yai b'damamai, Shabbat, Ramamai, Shabbat, Shabbat. Yai Ramamai, Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat. Yismechu, Yismechu, v'malachutecha. Yismechu, Yismechu, v'malachutecha. Shomrei Shabbat, Shomrei Shabbat. V'korei onegonik Shabbat. Shomrei Shabbat, Shomrei Shabbat. V'korei onegonik Shabbat. Amekarishin Shabbat, Shabbat. Amekarishin Shabbat, Shabbat. Kulam yisvehu ve'yitagu mituvecha. Shabbat, Shabbat. Yai Ramamai, Shabbat, Shabbat. Yai Ramamai, Shabbat, Shabbat. Yai Ramamai, Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat. Yismechu, Yismechu, v'malachutecha. Yismechu, Yismechu, v'malachutecha. Shomrei Shabbat, Shomrei Shabbat. V'korei onegonik Shabbat. Shomrei Shabbat, Shomrei Shabbat. V'korei onegonik Shabbat. V'hashvir atzida bo Shabbat, Shabbat. K'tzita bo v'kinasho Shabbat, Shabbat. Chemdat yamim oto karata. Zecher lema'aseh v'rishit Shabbat. Yai Ramamai, Shabbat, Shabbat. Yai Ramamai, Shabbat, Shabbat. Yai Ramamai, Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat.
So do you want to ask them or you want me to? You did a great job last time. Ask your parents. Come on.
Can you please come up?
Who?
Mom and Dad.
Good. So pages 332 and 333 are a prayer for Thanksgiving. And Michael and Gabby are going to be reading the paragraphs on those two pages. And all of them end with three Hebrew words, Modim Anachnu Lach, which literally translate as we give thanks to you, God. And that's our thing, and you're going to be leading everybody in it, right?
Yes.
Good. Okay?
For the expanding grandeur of creation, worlds known and unknown, galaxies beyond galaxies, filling us with awe and challenging our imaginations.
Modim Anachnu Lach.
For this fragile planet Earth, its times and tides, its sunsets and seasons,
Modim Anachnu Lach.
For the joy of human life, its wonders and surprises, its hopes and achievements.
Modim Anachnu Lach.
for human community, our common past and future hope, our oneness transcending all separation, our capacity to work for peace and justice in the midst of hostility and oppression.
Modim Anachnu Lach.
For high hopes and noble causes, for faith without fanaticism, for understanding of views not shared.
Modim Anachnu Lach.
For all who have labored and suffered for a fairer world, who have lived so that others might live in dignity and freedom.
Modim Anachnu Lach.
For human liberties and sacred rights, for opportunities to change and grow, to affirm and choose.
Modim Anachnu Lach.
We pray that we may live not by our fears, but by our hopes, not by our words, but by our deeds.
Baruch atah Adonai, hato shimcha ucha na'eh lehodot. Give her some love. And we're going to continue on the next page with our prayers for peace.
Sim shalom, tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha, barcheinu yotzreinu kulanu echad, ve'or panecha, givor panecha netata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu. Sim shalom, tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha, Torat chayim, ve'ahavat chesed, ve'ahavat chesed, u'tzedaka u'bracha ve'rachamim, ve'chayim shalom. Sim shalom. Sim shalom. Tova u'bracha, chen v'chesed ve'rachamim ve'rachamim aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha, ve'tov, ve'tov, ve'yinecha, levarich emcha Yisrael, becholit uchosha b'shlomecha. Sim shalom, sim shalom, tova u'bracha, chen v'chesed ve'rachamim ve'rachamim aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha.
Prayer is not purely an act. All things pray, and all things pour forth their souls. The heavens pray, the earth prays, every creature and every living thing. In all life there is longing, creation itself but a longing, a kind of prayer to the only, where are the clouds, the rising, the setting of the sun, the soft redacing of the moon, and the gentlest of the night. What are the flashes of the human mind and the storms of the human heart? They are all prayers, the wordless outpouring, boundless longing for God.
The wordless outpouring of boundless longing for God. I have no idea how to begin defining what God is. It would be pure arrogance for me, with my human limitations, to try to define something that creates and sustains everything. And yet there is a longing to reach beyond where I am and who I am, to know something more, to understand more, to be able to engage the world in new ways. And so all of the prayers that we have been reading have been first person plural. The we, the big we, want these things to happen. But at this point in the service, we take a step back and we go back to just the me. And so take a few moments and think about what you need to be able to experience in your own life so that you can grow a deeper understanding and appreciation of the world around, and for how you can heal some piece of that and bring people back together.
Oh, say shalom mirama, say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu 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 ve'al kol Yisrael.
We're about to embark on the Torah service. We will be taking the Torah from the Ark, publishing it to the community as reminiscent of a tradition that dates back to the time when when the temple still stood in Jerusalem thousands of years ago. And then you will be reading from Torah on behalf of members of your family and the community. All right? We'll get to the rest then. But in the meantime, would you like to ask them to please rise?
Please rise.
Mom, Dad, I need you up here, please.
אין כמוך ואלוהים אדוני ואין כמעשיך מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים וממשלתך בכל דור ודור אדוני מלך אדוני מלך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד אדוני עוזר מועיל אדוני יברך את עמו ושלום.
So, she's doing a great job, but she's doing a great job all her life, right?
That's right.
So, tell her how amazing she is.
We are so proud of you. We love you so much. I think you're doing great. And we're just hoping you do a great job.
So I'm holding a Torah that was saved from what was then Czechoslovakia. It was taken from a synagogue as Nazi Germany rampaged throughout Europe. And the Nazi Reich collected the Torah scrolls and the holy objects from synagogues that it destroyed, wanting to build a museum of the world that it conquered. We know how World War II ended, and we are blessed that these Torah scrolls are now in the hands of people who cherish them, as opposed to being museum objects. And we have a tradition that was not destroyed, but continues to thrive and grow. Today we're celebrating that as you will take on the mantle of thousands of years of tradition. Remember, no pressure, right? And this scroll, which is on permanent loan to Monmouth Reformed Temple, as long as there's a Monmouth Reformed Temple, there will be this scroll. And if you can see the covering, there's the barbed wire here that reminds us of the bitterness of oppression. And yet, stemming from that are the shoots and the roots of the olive tree and the dove of peace. So this scroll that I'm about to put in your hands is the tool that helps us remember where we've been, why we're here, and what we need to do. Okay?
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonai, Kadosh Shemo. Lecha Adonai Hagedura, Hagevura, Hatiferet, V'Hanitzach V'Hahod, Kichol Bashamayim Uvaretz, Kichol Bashamayim Uvaretz, Lecha Adonai Amalacha, Aminasi Lechol Rosh. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, haolam omeid. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, haolam omeid. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Ve'ha'erneinu b'toratecha v'dabek be'inu b'mitzotecha ve'hiyachim le'avenu le'ahava et Shemecha, V'lo nivush,
Rebecca's going to be reading from the book of Leviticus, this week's Torah portion, Emor, chapter 24. And there's a red book, the Torah commentary edited by the late Gunther Plaut. And you can find this portion on page 937 to follow along. We good?
For our first aliyah, we call up your grandparents, Arthur and Carol. Right here. Or if you want to touch the top.
Yep.
Okay, right here.
Baruch Hu es Adonai HaBaruch.
Baruch Adonai HaBaruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaBaruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam. Asher bochar bonu mikol ha'amim v'nosan lanu es Toraso. Baruch Atah Adonai nosein ha'Torah.
Amen. Page number. I gave it. Okay.
We are on page 937.
I didn't hear you, Rabbi. Come on, Rebecca.
Where's the eye? Give me the eye.
V'nata al hama arahet, livana zakah v'haita, lalihem la'az kara, asha la'adonai b'yom ha-shabbat, ya'arhenu lifnei Adonai, tam me'et b'nei Yisrael, barit olam v'haita, larhenu uvanav, Ba'uluhu Bahmahum Kadosh Ki Kadosh Kadoshim Hu Lo Mi Ishe Adonai Hak Olam.
Okay, you guys do the blessing. Want to touch the tali? Okay,
Right here?
right down here.
Okay. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Asher nosan lanu Toras emes v'chayei olam nata b'sokenu. Baruch Atah Adonai nosein ha'Torah.
Amen.
Amen.
Beautiful job.
Mazel tov. For our second aliyah, we call up Ron Sobel.
Pick a direction, any direction.
Baruch Hu Adonai Baruch.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher baruch banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Vayetze ben Asha Yisraeli, V'hu ben Yish Mitzuri, B'toch b'nei Yisrael, V'hai natzu ba'amacha, Neben ha-Yisraeli, Vish ha-Yisraeli, V'hikuv ben ha-Hasha, ha-Yisraeli, et Hashem, V'kalel, V'hai-v'oto, El Moshe, Bashim imo, Shalomit, bat divrei, Lamate dan.
Okay. I touch your tongue.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
Amen. Thank you. And now we call up your brother Ethan as our reader and Mrs. Mahan, Rebecca's teacher.
Do you know where you are?
Hang on. Oh, move over here.
Come over here.
You even know where your spot is? I'll find it. Rabbi. Okay. Bayani Huhu. OP, I don't know. Okay. Should be around here. Right there. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamavarach.
Baruch Adonai Ambarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamavarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Vayanihu b'mismar lifrosh lahem al pnei Adonai. Vayedaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Hotzei et hamkalel. Et el mihutz lemachaneh v'samchu kol hashomim. Et yedehem al rosho. V'ragmu oto kol ha'edah.
Terrific.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Natan Lanu Torat Emet V'chayei Olam Nata B'tochenu. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Okay, and now we call up your Andrew, your brother, to be a reader, and we call up Mike and Wendy for the Aliyah blessing. Okay, let's find it. Okay, Rabbi. Kol Haida. Right around here.
Right here. It starts with L.
Oh, Renee, yeah.
Where's the 2 for
Wait. Okay. Hang on. Got the lesson. All right, come forward. Sorry.
That's okay.
Baruch et Adonai Hamborah.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch
Adonai Hambarach Leolam
La'olam
Va'ed.
Ba'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Baruch Mikol Avim Netanan et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Come over here so that Andrew can get in.
Is it over on this side?
Yeah, it's over here.
Okay.
Israel. Where'd you start?
Okay, you got it.
Ve'el b'nei Yisrael, tedaber lemor. Ish ish ki yikalel Elocha v'nasa chet'o. V'nokev shem Adonai mot yumat ragom yirkmuvo kal ha'edah kager kaitzra nokovo shem yumat. Ve'ish ki yakeh kal nefesh Adam mot yuma ve'ama nefesh Vehema Ishmael Necha Nefesh Tacha Nefesh.
Excellent.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet V'cheinu Olam Nata Bokeinu. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Amen.
Great job. Okay.
Some celebration.
Okay. For our fifth aliyah, we call up your parents, Gabby and Michael.
I haven't seen you forever. You guys, you come over here.
Okay.
Rebecca, you're back here. You're up.
Your mom and dad. Oh, right. You go back here.
Baruch et Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bahar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Fiish ki yitain mum ba'amito ka'asher asa kain a'aseh lo shaver tahat shaver ayin tahat ayin shane tahat shane ka'asher yitain mum ba'adam shane yinatan bo omake v'haima shaleo mina umake adam yomat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayim olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
It's early.
Okay. And now we call you, Rebecca, to the Torah as a bat mitzvah. Tamod, Tamod, Tamod habat mitzvah, Rivka bat Dina v'Mendel, habat mitzvah chazaka.
Okay, take your time. And French. Touch it here. It's good. Yours. This paper. Here we go. Okay.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Mishpat ehed yiyeh lahem kager ka'izra yiyeh ki ani Adonai Eloheihem v'diber Moshe el bnei Yisrael v'yohitziu et ham kalel el mihutz laham chenu v'yirgamu oto avin v'nei Yisrael aso ka asher Tziva Adonai et Moshe. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'hai olam nata b'tohenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Okay, now. Okay, so I need everyone to please stand.
Bradley, I took your paper.
Asher Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai v'yad Moshe. V'zot haTorah asher Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai v'yad Moshe. Lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai.
These words from Torah that you've read and that are read throughout the year remind us of the work that we have to do to bring healing and restoration into each other's lives. And so, having read from the scroll, we take a moment to think about the folks around the world whose lives are so far from whole to the point of being absolutely shattered. We think of all who are suffering from war and violence. We're thinking of those who are suffering because of the ferocity of nature. Those who are ill and injured, who can't be involved in the lives that they would hope for and pray for. And those who are exhausted helping others at their own expense. Close to home, members of our family and our community, Rabbi Robert Orach, James Appio, Nancy Baskin, Steve Goldsmith, Doreen Lappert and Addison, Martha Brandwine, Walter McWilliams, Martin Gale, Norma Cohn, Miriam Solons, and Gail Topper. And if there's other people that we are holding in prayer, please share their names with us so that we can add them into our own thoughts.
Sandy Jessup. We continue with our prayer of healing in your blue prayer book on page 371. We join together.
May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha beirach imotenu, mikor habracha dehavotenu. Those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Please be seated. The Haftarah is the first level of commentary on the Torah portion. It's taken from the books of the prophets. Every week's Torah portion has a prophetic text associated with it. This week it's from Ezekiel. In that same red book that we were in for the Torah portion, you can find it on page 1001.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bar harbin v'yim tivim, v'yiratzah v'divrehem, v'aneh emerim ve'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habucher bar Torah, uv'muhusha avdo, uv'yisrael elmo, uv'in ha'emet v'tzidek.
Amen.
They are not to shave their heads, nor let their hair grow too long. They are only to trim their hair. No priest may drink wine before entering the inner courtyard. They must not marry widowed or divorced women. They may only marry Israelite virgins or the widows of priests. They are to teach my people the difference between the holy and the common, and let them know how to tell the pure from the impure. When there are disputes, they are to be my judges, and in judging, they are to follow my laws of justice and all my religious festivals. They are to carry out my teachings and my laws, and they are to keep my Sabbaths holy. Praise to you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, rock of all creation, radiance of all generations, the faithful God, whose word is deed, who creates by speaking, whose every command is just and true, for the Torah, for the privilege of worship, for the prophets, and for this Shabbat, that you, Adonai our God, have given us the holiness and rest, for honor and glory, for everything. Adonai our God, we thank and bless you. May your name be blessed by every living being. Praise to you, Adonai, for Sabbath and its holiness.
Amen. So, please please rise. We're going to put the Torahs away and we'll give you this.
It's Chaim למחזיקימה ותומכיה מאושר דרכיה לחינוך וכל נתיבותיה שלום השיבינו אדוני אליך ונשובה קדיש ימינו כקדם קדיש ימינו כקדם.
Please be seated. Let's see, you've read words that are thousands of years old, and most of us think that words that are thousands of years old are old, right?
Yeah.
But what's beautiful about our tradition is that these words speak to us throughout generations, and they continue to teach us because they give us pieces of stories, but not the whole text, so that we have to do something with it. And so we challenged you to teach today, and you've got an incredible, very simple lesson that if folks are paying attention, each one of us in here can make a difference. Are you ready to share that teaching?
Yes.
Good.
Shabbat Shalom and good morning. Good morning. Thank you for being here on this very special day, the day of my bat mitzvah. On this day, our Torah portion talks about an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Normally, when we think of an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, we think it is something negative, but it can mean several other things. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth can be doing something positive that makes something good happen. I believe you should do good things for the sake of other people and not for making yourself look good. For example, you should give charity to other people without expecting them to be charitable to you. Doing something good for others will lighten them up to do something good for other people, and this will make the world better and better. For my mitzvah project, I chose to donate to an organization in Red Bank called Lunch Break. They give people food that don't have the ability to get or afford food. I've discussed my mitzvah project with my friends and family and how it is important to donate to those in need. So I will be donating as much food as I can to Lunch Break because I know it is the right thing to do. Knowing that you have food is very important because it's one less thing to worry about. Food gives you motivation and energy for the things you need to get done. Hopefully, this would teach everyone a lesson to do good things for the sake of doing them. Donating to Lunch Break relates to our Torah portion because when you do something good to someone, you should just do it to be nice instead of doing it to get something in return. When you think about an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, we want to think about it in a way in which it spreads positivity to other people, not just bringing positivity back to you. Everyone should be looking to perform good deeds for others. If we all do this, we can make the world a better place. I would like to end with some important thank yous. I first want to thank Cantor Clissold for helping me learn all my prayers and supporting me through my bat mitzvah journey. I would also like to thank Rabbi Kline for helping me understand my Torah portion and my Jewish faith. To my parents, a special thanks for being so supportive and having my back throughout this whole process. I would also want to thank all the time and effort you put into my bat mitzvah journey. I want to thank all my friends and family for being here on this special day. Finally, I want to thank Ethan and Andrew, my brothers, for being supportive.
Eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth from a positive spin. That's really kind of cool that you've done that because that's not the way our tradition normally has read it, but it is so on point. We are so blessed to have what we have. We have the eye. We want other people to have that as well. And that's the way that we're supposed to go through this world. So for each of the different blessings that fill our lives, we should be compelled to fill other people's lives with them as well. It's just that simple. Folks, if you like what you have, other people will like that as well. So make sure that you share your blessings with other people. It's really called paying it forward. And we all have been held and pushed and cajoled by so many people in our lives that we've got a lot for which to be thankful. And the question is, do we demonstrate that thanks enough? And I don't think the word enough is ever really in part of that vocabulary. As you said a couple times, do it because it's the right thing to do. But that's kind of who you are. I've watched you now grow from the tag-along at your brother's bar mitzvah lessons, okay, into this incredible young lady, standing on your own, and yet with absolute joy, the very meek and mild Rebecca that I knew back then. I've been blessed to see you at a couple bat mitzvah parties where you have just, you're all out there. And it's incredible. And then this morning, well, I got to go back. One of the things that I really first noticed was when I first got here, I watched every day as your brother, Andrew, walked you to religious school class. You two walked into the building together and you made sure she got safely to class, right? And you were never embarrassed that your brother wanted to do that. You love each other. And just before the service this morning, they were holding hands on either side of the pew back. And he was encouraging you, and you had the most infectious, wonderful smile staring back at your brother. Okay? That is a gift. You know, Ethan, you and Andrew love this young lady, and you have helped her figure out what it means to love back without being browbeating. You're loving brothers. And that means that you've learned that because y'all haven't fallen far from the tree, okay, your parents. If you want to see what it means to really take care of each other as family, we've got lots of great examples, but today there's this one standing right in front of us. And so you don't complain. When you first started meeting with me, you weren't sure about how this was going to go. Every time I'd ask you a question, you'd look at Mom, right? And then you'd give an answer, and it was always a good answer. And you've grown such great confidence because you know what you can do. And we're discovering the amazing you, right? You want to grow. You appreciate it. You never said this is too hard. To us, anyway. I don't know what you said at home. But to us, you never said this is too hard. You didn't complain. You did everything that was asked of you, and you did so in a way that demonstrated, and I think Cantor will affirm this, that you were proud of what you were doing. You always brought your A game. And for someone your age to understand how important that is, that's an amazing gift. It's what leaders are made of. So I hope people will learn from you in that role. And I hope that, as you continue here or you continue anywhere in this world, as people gather around you, they'll be able to know that when they look for the reason to do, it's because it matters. Because that's who you are. And for that gift, I am so appreciative. Because I truly have hope for our future. Is it okay? Yeah. Did I embarrass you too much? Good, because you own it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So with that, we are going to ask everyone to stand because we're going to go before the ark. Cantor and I are going to ask God's blessings for you.
Okay.
And then I know that she has some things to say about you, and she has a gift for you as well. So with that, you want to ask them to?
Please rise.
Good.
Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Yahir Adonai panav elecha v'huneka.
May God's light shine for you, and may you know God's grace.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha. Shalom, shalom.
May your eyes always shine light with Torah. May the warmth that you share be infective for the rest of the world. As people come into your presence, may they know that gift and learn to experience it and share it themselves. May the family, sense of family that you carry so dear, become a paradigm for all with whom you interact. And may in that way you help be what brings peace to our world. Amen and amen.
Amen. Amen.
Please be seated.
Rebecca, you did an absolutely beautiful job. And I hope and pray that your takeaway from all of this is that you're capable of doing anything you want to do.
Yep.
And I cannot express how important it is to me for you to understand that about yourself. And I know that we've had to go about things in a special way, but it in no way takes away from the magnificence of your achievement. And I'm just so incredibly proud of you and grateful to your parents who are your loving advocates and have raised you and your brothers to be such special people. Your parents come from special people, and this is a beautiful and close family. I love that when we started learning the blessings together, specifically for Shabbat, that you knew the candle blessing, and you knew the kiddush, and you knew the motzi, because your family has Shabbat in their lives. This is a practice that your mother and father have, and have made something very special for your family to have Shabbat. And when we began meeting, you are one of the children who had the challenge of meeting during the pandemic. So for several months, everything was virtual. And it's very, very difficult to learn that way for everybody. It's also very difficult to teach that way. But you just kept on. Somehow, you worked so hard. I got to see your beautiful bedroom, and you really do have exquisite taste, I have to say. And also you would go to cheerleading and you had stuff in school, and now you have track, and no matter what, you fit it in with so much focus. And I want you to think about something in our lives that it's a concept that we have in Judaism, that there might be these malach Adonai, these beings that are in our lives. They could be here on this earth, your parents, your brothers, your grandparents. They could also be beings that we cannot see, that help us on our journey. Some people call these malach Adonai angels. And I really strongly believe that you have been blessed with a lot of angels in your life. Those who are here and those we probably don't even see. And my song for you is called The Angel's Blessing. I also think you are an angel to many people as well. So I could not think of any other song that would be more perfect for you.
May your right hand bring you closer to your godliness. May your left hand give you strength to face each day. And before us may your visions light your path ahead. And behind us may well-being heal your way. All around us is Shekhinah. 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 May your right hand bring you closer to your godliness. May your left hand give you strength to face each day. and before us may your vision light your path ahead, and behind us may well-being heal your way. All around us is Shekhinah, all around us is Shekhinah, all around us is Shekhinah, all around us is Shekhinah.
Going to continue as we will rise, turn to page 586, and thank God we have this incredible earth that we get to be part of and to serve. So,
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, v'tekdu la'yotzer bereshit, shehunot hashamayim v'yotzei na'aretz, u'moshav yekaro b'shamayim mimahal, u'shchinat uzo b'govei meromim, u'Eloheinu einon, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech, Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch, v'ne'emar, v'haya Adonai, v'melech al kol haaretz, v'yom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, Shemo,
ultimately, the greatest gift of Thanksgiving, or ways of demonstrating our appreciation, is to pay forward the gift given to us. And so when people pass from this world, we continue them in our thoughts and our hearts and our memories, not as something or someone that was, but as someone who is. We can't hold their hands anymore, but they continue to impact our lives. And so 4 times a year at festivals and Yom Kippur, we call them to memory. We call them to memory specifically on the weeks and days of their anniversary of their passing. Even while without ceremony, they're part of our life every day. This week, we recall the Yortzeit, Sanella Abrams, Bella Doctorow, Charles Frankel, Rose Getz, Simon Hauser, Del Hockey, Irma Jacoby, Emily Young, Jacob Kaufman, Mark Lacey, Thomas Robert Mannion, Donald H. Mintz, Philip Moser, Leon P. Panek, Albert Rosen, Irene Sandman, Jerry Sharp, Sylvia Sills, and Henry Weiner. And if there are other annual Yortzeits being observed this week, please share their names. We're in Shloshim, the first 30 days in memory of David Atlas, Zichronam, Livracha. May the memories that they leave us to blessing. We're on page 598 as we share His words, sanctifying their memory and our commitment to paying forward their lessons. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabba v'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchut v'chaye echon v'yom echon uv'chaye d'chol beit Yisrael v'agala u'vizman kavi v'mahor amen Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam u'lamei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitchomam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shmei d'kudusha brichu Le'elam in kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata ta'amiran ve'alma v'imru amen Yehei shlomo rabba amin shmaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen Osei shalom b'imromav hu ya'asei shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen
Osei shalom b'imromav hu ya'asei
seated. So, a couple of things are about to happen now. One is I'm going to ask representatives from our men's club and our sisterhood to come forward because we've got some gifts for you. But before I do that, we have people passing candy out to people, right? Okay, that's Talia and Ellie, right? You guys ready? Now, here's the instructions. You don't have to hide yet.
I'm ready.
Come on, start passing the candy out. You're going to get some candy. Don't mess it up in your hands. Don't eat it yet. You are going to gently toss it in the direction of this incredible young adult as a gift of sweetness on her behalf. Thou shalt not throw it. For anybody that's thinking there's no scouts here clocking times, okay? Thou shalt try to avoid the backs of the heads of the people in front of you. So if you need to move up, do so. And then after I instruct you to throw, and after you throw said candy, I will invite anybody who considers themselves to be young. So grandparents, friends, if you're young, you can come to come and collect said candy. But you're not going to eat that yet because you haven't said a blessing, and I don't want wrappers all over the sanctuary. Okay? So with that, I'm going to first ask Ruthann Sokol on behalf of Sister to come on up.
Hi, Rebecca. Mazel tov. You did an amazing job. I am here on behalf of the Monmouth Reformed Temple Sisterhood, a group of women who are involved in the temple and the community and who believe in you and want to present this gift to you so you can continue your amazing Jewish journey. And just as everyone has said, I have had the opportunity to get to know your family and you since you were a little girl. And you've come up with my daughter Ava, and I know that you will continue to be involved in the community. And everything that you do, you take on with such pride and dedication, cheerleading, track, dance, and your commitment to this bat mitzvah. So mazel tov again.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Can I help you?
Thank you.
And on behalf of our men's club, I'd like to ask Scott Schneider to come on up. Can you put that down?
Hello, Rebecca. Congratulations on everything that you've done. It's wonderful services and the ceremony. I remember you when you were about maybe this big. I don't know if you remember me, but my kids are Hope and Dylan. You remember them? Oh, great. So now I'm known through my kids. Great.
As we get old.
Yes.
And so just a wonderful service and congratulations. On behalf of Men's Club, I would like to present this book to you to add to your library that I'm sure your brothers have as well. And I remember asking, I was a representative for your brother Ethan's bar mitzvah, so I remember asking him to give me a report on the book. I have not seen that yet, but maybe the three of you can now give a joint report. So again, congratulations and best of luck to you and your family.
Thanks, Scott. Okay, I'll take that, and I will put that in here. Also, on behalf of Monmouth Reformed Temple, there is a certificate here signifying this day. I know that you're going to post it proudly so that you'll remember this day. You know you're not allowed to lie to your rabbi, right?
I know.
Okay. But truly, it's a piece of paper, but it is a way of remembering as you continue to grow. Every time you do look at this, that you've accomplished something monumental both for you, but also for us. Because as you stand at this bima, you remind us that it's about tomorrow and that we have an obligation not to rest on our laurels today, but to grow. And who's responsible for teaching us how to grow?
Me?
Yeah, remember the first day we met, I said you were my rabbi, right?
Yeah.
That's because we're supposed to learn from you, because we as old people, I'm much older than you, have no idea what's important to you moving forward if you don't tell us. So we need you to be vocal in teaching, okay?
Okay.
Now, for that moment where people are going to be gifting you their sweetness, okay? This is for your face, okay? So take that, we're gonna move out to the middle. Out here, right in the middle. Y'all remember the rules? Okay. So you will wait until I'm out of the way and I say Mazel Tov. Anybody who throws in Cantor's direction or mine is immediately gifted with demerits. I have no idea what that means. Okay? And then I'll ask everyone to come get it, okay? So, Mazel Tov. That's why I said put it up there. Okay, everyone, no more throwing. Please come get the candy.
Come on up, everybody.
Come on up.
Thank you.
Okay, then when you get something, go back down. We'll get the rest of it later.
I miss our lessons, man. I don't know what to do with myself anymore.
Okay.
Whoa.
Okay. Cantor, we are going to be closing with
Okay.
a piece.
Our closing song chosen by Rebecca is Tree of Life. Okay, Rebecca. Was that you, Rabbi?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was that rabbi.
Okay, that's all right. So this is a prayer referring to the Torah, which is considered our tree of life, and we hold fast to it. There's a clapping part.
It is a tree of life to those who hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to those who hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. Shalom, 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 shalom.
So I'm going to ask your brothers and your parents to come on up. So we're going to say Motzi and bless the juice. So as a way of saying when it's time to eat, y'all are prepared to do so, being thankful. All right? And it is just grape juice.
I poured it this morning.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen. L'chaim. Take a sip. Okay? And then, hold that. Hold that. I'll take that. Okay, guys, you're going to help her with Motzi?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher lechem mein haaretz.
Amen.
Amen.
Potato. Thank you, God, for the bread, for the grains that grew it, the hands that gleaned it, and everybody who worked to provide it. You all can have a bite, make everybody jealous. Okay? All right. And as we prepare to leave, may we grow from strength to strength as we work through this day of celebration, a Shabbat Simcha, a day of rest from the noise in the world, a Shabbat Menucha, a day that we should be reminded to bless each other, Shabbat Mevorach, but most of all, a day of wholeness, a day of peace. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat
Shabbat
Shalom.
Shalom. Thank you for being here.
Shabbat Shalom.
Okay.